Short-term effects. Something that is a short term is best described as something that will last for a short time, or have an effect soon rather than in the distant future. A short-term effect is something affected for a short amount of time. For example, a basketball player's legs might get sore from running too much across the court. However, this is only short-term because within 1 to 3 days the player will have made a full recovery and his leg will be back to normal and rebuilt stronger than it ever was before. In a game of basketball, the circulatory, the respiratory and muscular system are all being affected by how the player plays and how much effort he uses during his performance. Most of the effects caused by basketball are short-term, meaning faster recoveries, which is essential for a basketball player to have. A short-term effect of running around on the basketball court is the increase in demand for oxygen, as your muscles need oxygen to function properly. Oxygen travels through the body in blood. When the muscles need more oxygen, blood will need to be pumped around the body more, often causing a rise in heart beats per minute as your circulatory system works harder to pump oxygenated blood around the body for the muscles. Blood needs to be oxygenated more quickly so that the basketball player can keep performing on a high level. While playing basketball, your muscles are required for the movement of the body. In the short term, a lot of exercise can lead to muscle fatigue and soreness. This is a short-term effect caused by the accumulation of lactic acid in the muscles. Lactic acid builds up in muscles during intense exercise, like when a basketball player is running across the court. Lactic acid will build up and cause fatigue and soreness in the muscles he was using. However, lactic acid isn't a long-term effect because in a short period of time the lactic acid will travel back to the liver through the blood and will be converted back to glucose. In a basketball game, lactic acid will be present in the muscles of the hardest working players. A short-term effect that will affect the gameplay of the player. The muscle soreness and fatigue will prevent a player from playing as good as they were before. Another effect of basketball exercise in a game is the increased body temperature. This is caused by the friction of the muscles rubbing together from the intense work put in by the athlete. Sweating will also occur with a higher body temperature. If a body temperature is too high, it can result in headaches, nausea, and blackouts, so a basketball player is careful with the amount of effort he puts in on the court to keep himself safe. A long-term effect is an effect that will stay for long amounts of time into the future. For example, if a 6-month-long training program was held for the basketball players, which included activities like the gym and skills training, many long-term effects will be present because of the training. These effects will be seen in the muscular, respiratory, and circulatory system after the 6 months. A 6-month training program would include lots of exercise. The cardiac muscles surrounding the heart hypertrophies would thicken, which makes the heart healthier and stronger, making the heart more efficient at pumping blood around the body. The more blood that's pumped around the body per minute, the faster oxygen is delivered to the working muscles in a basketball game, resulting in a better performing player on the court with the increased oxygen and energy. Another effect of a long training program would be an increase in the number of red blood cells. This improves the body's ability to transport oxygen to the muscles for aerobic energy production. This, added with a stronger and healthier heart, is definitely going to have a positive impact on the player whilst performing on the court. A healthy long-term effect that's useful outside of basketball is a lower resting heart rate. A lower resting heart rate is much healthier than a high heart rate. The heart tires out and wears out quicker than the faster it's going, causing a lower life expectancy and a higher risk of heart attacks, so a low heart rate is healthy for a player. After a 6-month training program, one of the many long-term effects would be the strengthening of the respiratory muscles, like the diaphragm. When these muscles are strengthened, they are more efficient. This results in larger respiratory volumes, which allows more oxygen to be diffused into the blood flow, resulting in high energy levels while playing basketball. The diameter and number of capillaries is increased too, which increases the efficiency of gaseous exchanges within the body to supply oxygen to muscles. This will help the muscles function better in a basketball game. A positive long-term effect of a 6-month basketball training program would be an increase in the mitochondria. Mitochondria are inside your muscle cells and are responsible for aerobic metabolism to produce energy during exercise. If you have more mitochondria within your muscles can produce more energy. This is what occurs inside your muscles in response to endurance training. During the 6-month basketball training, the body will increase the amount of mitochondria producing energy, which increases your fitness and endurance, increasing your on-court performance levels. Another positive effect of the training is bigger muscles. Regular long-term resistant training includes a change in the size of your muscle fibers. Resistance training causes your muscles to hypertrophy, meaning muscle fibers inside your muscle increase in size. Your muscle fibers can increase in cross-sectional size between 20 and 45%. However, it is estimated that it would take at least 16 regular exercise sessions before you are able to see any change in your muscle growth, which in a basketball training program would be most likely present. With stronger and bigger muscles, an athlete is able to run faster on the court, shoot from longer distances, and be a more effective and better player on the court. Also, with bigger muscles, more energy can be stored inside them to use, minimizing the amount of lactic acid produced in a game. There are many energy systems used during basketball depending on how intense a player is playing and how much effort is being put into his game. The ATP PC system and the anaerobic system are put into play without using oxygen, while the aerobic system uses oxygen. During a game of basketball, on average, about 75% of the player's energy comes from the ATP PC system, followed by about 15% from the anaerobic system and approximately 10% from the aerobic system. The ATP PC system dominates vigorous intensity plays, while the anaerobic system is responsible for moderate intensity actions, and the aerobic system is responsible for low intensity plays. For basketball plays lasting up to 10 seconds, the ATP PC system uses adenosine triphosphate, creating phosphate for energy. The ATP PC provides quick bursts of immediate energy. Some plays include running up and down the court, changing directions, rebounding, jump shots, and playing defense. This energy system requires about 30 to 90 seconds of rest for a moderate recovery due to the absence of oxygen during the delivery of energy. Plays lasting between 10 to 60 seconds require the glycolytic system to supply energy. During this energy production, the body uses anaerobic glycolysis to release ATP and produce lactic acid. The energy source can be used for more moderate intensity actions, but requires 60 to 240 seconds for a moderate recovery. Most plays that will use this system are full court defensive pressure or offensive plays. The aerobic system isn't the predominant energy system used in a basketball game, but it is one of the most important energy systems in a game. The aerobic system is essential for continuous play during a game. While the ATP, PC, and anaerobic system are releasing ATP and lactic acid, the aerobic system is replenishing these energy stores, improving recovery time for those energy systems, making it one of the most important systems in a game of basketball for the player.